And we are live. Hopefully, that sounds decent. I always got to make sure that my audio is not the big doo doo, so to speak. But, excrement aside, let me just check this out for a second here, folks. Alrighty, folks. I have just reviewed the footage, and I do believe we are good to go. Now, this is a very simple little stream. This is Monstrous News with Mongo. Now, hopefully, we have a good time here, folks. Hopefully, we get a little bit of our monster movie news for the day. Beginning of the week. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Let me take a moment to just tweet this out, I guess. Maybe maximize the amount of pleasure that we get from this. Pardon the phrase. Actually, I'll tweet this out after because, this is a bit of a test run. We'll see how this goes. We'll try to keep this short, try to keep it to around 30 minutes, around a half hour. Y'all are important. Your time is important. So let's get on down to the news here. I have, there's been a lot of interesting stuff that's appeared the last couple of weeks here. Mostly, I get most of my kaiju news from Twitter in the form of Kaiju News Outlet. Let me show you the Twitter page, Kaiju News Outlet, and let me copy and paste that into the chat. Let me see, paste, and hopefully there it goes. And it's beautiful. It's magical. It's a wonder of wonder and a miracle of miracles. Pardon me as I quote Fiddler on the Roof. But anyhow, this is Kaiju News Outlet. Great Twitter page. They have they're pretty much my one-stop shop for kaiju news or giant monster news. Whether it's in the form of figures like this right here, the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2019 event exclusive color edition figure. There's a lot of good stuff that they pick up on that I really enjoy seeing in my day-to-day activities. So, of course, there's they always have a variant of Godzilla, whether it's, pretty much every incarnation, at least. SH Monster Arts is very well known for having Godzilla figures, specifically portraying Godzilla himself. They do have a few other bits of news that I will gladly share with you guys today. Let me share a different screen here and show you some of the figures that have recently been announced. So let's see, we'll start with a variant of a Godzilla figure here. This is new images for the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2001. If you're unfamiliar with the year, that would be Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah All Out Monster Attack. That is a very fun movie. It's in the Millennium era. We have a very distinct design for Godzilla here. As you can see, this side view here, Godzilla is a lot more evil, a lot more mindless, so to speak, in this incarnation. You can see the large, gigantic feet. Gigantic feet. You can see his tail. Looking at the tail, it seems like a pretty basic articulation setup there. If you're familiar with the 1994 Godzilla series of the SH Monster Arts line, those Godzillas have a very similar looking tail in that they have a few points of articulation, and that's probably about all you can really expect from that, at least from my novice viewpoint here. But anyhow, let's see. So let me get my thoughts back together here. So yes, we have the Atomic Blast variant, heat ray version. It's a very nice figure. It's got the he's building up to an atomic blast. Yeah, I think the jury is out. I don't know if they will actually include an atomic breath effect with this Godzilla. You would think that they would include that in the promo shots, but this is just an announcement. Who knows? Maybe further down the line, they will show that he comes with some accessories. Me personally, folks, when it comes to Godzilla figures, especially something premium like this figure, like SH Monster Arts, I kind of want it to come with a breath effect. It's like getting a Spider-Man toy without his web, or let's say a Batman toy without a Batarang. Godzilla, he's very iconic for having that heat ray blast. But yeah, so let's kind of mosey on to the next big figure that was announced here. And this is actually a very nice surprise for a lot of Godzilla collectors out there. And that would be, let me make sure I got my correct thing. I think you guys will greatly enjoy this. This monster comes from the Heisei era of Godzilla, most specifically the movie Godzilla vs. Biollante. And there we go. New images of the SH Monster Arts Biollante special color version of the figure. Very cool figure. It's a very cool monster, very unique altogether considered, in the Godzilla franchise. You can kind of just see this is a great looking figure. Now, this is just a recolor of a previously released figure from SH Monster Arts. Biollante herself is a very interesting kaiju. It's a mixture of a few different things. You have some Godzilla cells, some Rose cells, and you have some human spirit thrown in there too. Human spirit, maybe some human DNA. Don't quote me on this, folks. I am, of course, a novice. I may say I'm a kaiju connoisseur, but at the end of the day, I am not too knowledgeable when compared to some of the other people in the giant monster community. But as you can see, this is a very great figure. A lot of people are very happy for this because the original Biollante release from SH Monster Arts has become extremely expensive and is very, very out of range. So let's see. There's some great little comments here. Let's see. Maybe not on this page. Well, I'll have to do some searching for the comment that I really enjoyed looking at. But basically, this is going to be a gigantic figure. I'll have to look up some very brief size comparisons. Let me just type this in here. Let me go behind the curtain here. SH Monster Arts Biollante. Biollante. Then we'll go with the size comparisons because they do have some nice size comparisons online. This will give you a very good idea of the size of this figure here. Let me see here. Okay, there is a literal wealth of pictures here on the Google for all your browsing needs. So let's see here. We'll start at the start here. Here's kind of another profile shot. You notice the difference in the color here. The new color release is a little more vibrant, but here it is with a standard SH Figure Arts Godzilla. You can see it's pretty dang big. Pretty big, very wide. It can stretch. It has some pretty good articulation from the look of it. That's the thing with Biollante. Since she is a plant, she is technically going to have a connection to the ground. So don't expect any leg articulation in the traditional sense. Although you can expect some tentacle articulation. bow chicka wow wow if you're into that. But anyhow, you can see, you get a pretty good idea of the size of this figure. It's a very large, very cool kaiju. And I am looking forward to seeing all of the posts that will come from that eventual release. And let's see here. I can close out some of these tabs here just to lighten the load on my internet. So we got about two more pieces of info here, big things of info. First, we will go to a little announcement here on a upcoming graphic novel. If you're unfamiliar with the term graphic novel, it is basically, at least to my understanding, and I could be wrong here, folks, but it's basically another word for comic book. So, new information for the upcoming Kong graphic novel has been revealed. The new book, which is a prequel to Godzilla vs. Kong, will be titled GVK Kingdom Kong and will be released on March 30th, 2021. Very interesting, you know. So we see a nice little blurb here from Kaiju News Network in this picture, stating that this is a sequel to the graphic novel Skull Island: Birth of Kong and a prelude to the film Godzilla vs. Kong. The upcoming Kong prequel graphic novel will follow a group of highly skilled military pilots gathered together on Skull Island to see who has the right stuff to take on a dangerous mission into the Hollow Earth. One of the pilots, Audrey, is haunted by the memories of a monstrous clash with one of Godzilla's titanic rivals that left deep scars. When the Skull Island is attacked by Camazotz, a bat-like titan, Audrey must come to terms with her inner demons, and finding his home newly threatened, Kong must rise to face this usurper that would plunge the world into perpetual night. Very interesting there. I remember previously, earlier this year, and partially part of last year, we were revealed the name and some images of the kaiju Camazotz. Let me pull that up for you. Camazotz, I'm going to do Godzilla, just so we can get some nice, good-looking, pretty good-looking images. They're not bad. Let me stop sharing to that one and move on to my Google tab. And here we have some images of Camazotz. As we read earlier, it is a giant bat-like kaiju. Some of these images are of a good proportion. Excuse me, folks. I'm going to sneeze in 3, 2. Alrighty, and I sneezed. Thankfully, I muted before the calamity ensued. But we have Camazotz here. Now, if I recall correctly, this is a kaiju associated with the nighttime, hence the reference to plunging the world into a perpetual night. Personally, I find it to be a very interesting kaiju. I'm looking forward to it. Very much, actually. In addition to that, we have another announcement for a graphic novel that's going to be coming out. Allow me to share the screen again. Now, this is for an upcoming Godzilla graphic novel. We'll cut straight to the blurb here. So this is a unique story that picks up after the events of the film Godzilla, King of the Monsters, where the Titans have risen and the reign of Godzilla has begun. As told entirely from Godzilla's point of view, the graphic novel brings new insights into the King of Monsters, his habitats, ancient rivalries, challenges, and encounters with new Titans. As his new era of dominance is tested, a coming confrontation with another king looms. Now, again, this is the upcoming Godzilla graphic novel, which has been revealed. It'll be titled GVK Godzilla Dominion. I do like that. I think it'll be a very nice companion piece. Having two graphic novels coming out at the same time, Kingdom Kong and Godzilla Dominion, both of those graphic novels, I imagine will have very nice artwork. I greatly enjoy the cover work that has appeared on the various graphic novels that have been released under the Monsterverse title. Those being Godzilla Aftershocks and Godzilla, I believe Godzilla Awakening. Don't quote me on that one. But they're very nice covers. They usually come out with nice variant covers, which are very nice to see. So I'm looking forward to both of those. Now we're coming up to our last item here. Before we get to that, I'm going to share with you guys a very brief figure that is being released by Bandai Spirits. The Bandai Spirits line is very cool. I enjoy looking at them. That's pretty much the case with most of these figures. Now, here we have Bandai Spirits has unveiled a massive new Unit 01 figure, representing the initial release in Bandai's new Dine Action line. The upcoming figure will stand at a towering 16 inches tall. You can pre-order the figure now for approximately $184 with a scheduled release date of December. If you're not familiar with the image on the screen right now, this is from Evangelion. This is a very cool piece of media, in my opinion. This is the Unit 1 Eva. Very gigantic robot. It's very animalistic in appearance. It is a very interesting series. I only know little tidbits here and there about the series. I've never personally watched the whole series or the movies in any real order. So this will be a really nice treat for any Evangelion fans out there. Again, this is a 16-inch figure. So it is going to be huge. It'll be towering over a majority of the kaiju figures that you have. The SH Figure Arts line, for example, usually make things in a 6-inch, maybe 7-inch scale. And for NECA, most of their Godzilla figures are also in a 7-inch or 7 to 6-inch scale as well. It kind of varies from figure to figure. Really, this is going to be something that will be a real treat for you to get. And I think looking at the accessories here, this is a very nice looking release. You get a lot of different options here. With the hands, you have different weapons. You have a large knife, a gun, a cord. There's a lot of cool possibilities that you can work into this figure with your displays. Again, this is the Bandai Spirits Dine Action line, Unit 01 Eva. So it's very interesting. That is a very cool thing. And at 16 inches for under 200, it seems like an interesting price point. Personally, I'm not invested or as invested as you folks, you Eva fans, in this figure. But that's something that I found very interesting. And it leads into the biggest thing that caught my attention this last week. Before I come into this final piece of news, I'm going to have a nice drink of water, and hopefully you guys check out this wonderful Twitter page, Kaiju News Outlet. Sorry, not News Network, News Outlet. I'm going to have a drink, folks. Make sure you guys stay hydrated, especially during this warm summer season. Alrighty. Very nice water. Very nice water. I'm a simple man. I don't drink alcohol. I don't even drink coffee or tea, but a nice cup of water will satisfy me very well. So, folks, for our last thing, the piece de résistance, so to speak, of this little stream, hopefully, is going to be a very large, very powerful looking statue of the Evangelion Unit 1 released by Kyoto. And here it is, folks. Kyoto has revealed a massive new Evangelion Unit 1 statue. The statue stands at a staggering 6.5 feet tall and will cost approximately $14,709. Products will be shipped out 2 months after order placement. So let's kind of get a look here. Now, when I first saw this post and saw this image here, I didn't give it the real attention it deserved. I had assumed that this was just a very nice little collage that they put of just some random lady being happy to see an Evangelion statue. I had assumed that the statue was 6.5 inches tall and that they were just doing a collage. But of course, this is for scale to get a general idea of how gigantic this statue is going to be. Again, folks, this is 6.5 feet. I'm well aware that this most likely is not an actual picture, photographed in a studio. I'm thinking this is probably just another collage of sorts. But pardon me, folks. This is gigantic. And looking at the detail that you have here, it looks amazing. I can only imagine the hassle and the anxiety that you will get from ordering this figure. Obviously, we have the Eva one, and this is him standing over a dead enemy. Now, if you're familiar with Evangelion, you probably know the name of that thing. As far as I know, that is called an angel, what is known as an angel. Now, it's very interesting. I'd definitely like to learn more about Evangelion. Here is a wonderful little tweet from GargantuCast. They're a great little podcast. I like listening to them. They also have Discord. You can find them pretty easily. You can find them on Twitter here at GargantuCast. But looks at price tag, and this is a shot from the actual anime. And I gotta tell you, looking at this, it's kind of one of those exotic oddities, so to speak. 6.5 feet and the price of over 14K, that is really something, insane to me. I don't know where this ships from. I'm assuming it ships from Asia. So I would assume that part of the price tag here is possibly the shipping fees, because 6.5 feet, that's massive. And I'm assuming, it's either if it comes in one piece, then you're going to have a Christmas Story situation where the thing probably gets shipped in a giant giant wooden crate or something. I doubt this thing comes in pieces, because they would probably mention that. It's gigantic. I can only imagine how large the base is here. This base where the Eva is standing on. 6.5 feet. It's going to be huge. This is something you would see in a museum or a theme park or something along those lines, because this is something gigantic. It's so huge. The largest thing I have ever purchased that could be considered even comparable to this would be the large Godzilla from Jack's Pacific, and that's only 2 feet tall. So it's not even really comparable. The price tag of that Jack Specific Godzilla was also considerably less because it is a children's toy, and this is a premium statue. I wouldn't even call this a figure, so to speak. A premium statue for a niche market, so to speak, in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, there are a lot of fans of anime, giant monsters, and of course, Evangelion. So this is a very interesting thing to see, and I'm very interested to see or hear news about how sales go for this. It's a great figure. Oh, sorry, folks. I called it a figure. Again, I should call this a statue. It's a great looking statue of a great looking character of fiction. So, folks, that's about all I have to say here. I guess let me just take a moment to pop in to the YouTube, because YouTube is, of course, a great little facet of life that I have a chance to participate in. Let me share the tab so that I can give you a nice little look at what Mongo's Big Thinks is. Now, here is the my channel page, Mongo's Big Thinks. You can find me, obviously, on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitter at Mongo Thinks, or you can also just type in Mongo's Big Thinks. Very easy to find. It's a simple thing to do. I have a nice little selection of playlists. I have a playlist where I sing. I have a very old playlist called the 14 Monstrous Nights of Halloween from last year, where I talk about some older monster movies and some newer monster movies and make recommendations to you. I also have a little playlist known as Recommendations. These are more recent videos that range from comic books to movies, and even most recently to a video game known as Titanfall 2. And of course, I also have a playlist for live streams. These live streams vary widely from playing video games to talking about other news, such as other releases or announcements from NECA. There's a lot of cool things. I have some current events here and there. And yeah, there is a pretty good selection here. Recently, I've had the chance to guest on a few very nice individuals' channels, such as Ord's Board. And without further ado, folks, let me look that up so I can link you his channel. Because Ord's Board, he's a very cool dude. He may never hear this, and that's fine, because that's kind of how I roll. The way I kind of go with YouTube is essentially, I like to think that I am tossing a coin into a pool or an ocean, depending on the situation and the demographic. And anyhow, I like to think that when I toss that coin into that pool, that eventually someone might find that penny and gain joy from the video that they see. I know it's cheesy, and I know it's probably very blasé, so to speak, but it's a very cool little thing that I like to think about. Now, there are a few other channels that I want to put here in the chat. I will also put in the channel known as Thomas Gilkey. Thomas Gilkey, he's a really good dude. I've gotten to know him a little bit better recently. He's very kind. He's very humble. And he's also very compassionate and caring. He loves to play around with people. He loves to talk with people. I really enjoy watching him, whether it's on a YouTube stream or on his little videos that he puts out. He'll be coming up on a very nice little stream, so to speak, in the next week or so, celebrating his recent achievement of let me look this up here really quickly. I closed out the tab like a noob. Okay, Thomas Gilkey, he has recently hit 465 subscribers. He's been very happy about that. He has a wealth of videos. He has over 300 videos, nearly 400 videos. And let me tell you, folks, Thomas Gilkey, he has been in the YouTube game for a long time. He has been doing this for upwards of 3 years. He's been doing this. He is a guy who, if he likes you and he likes what you do, he's going to support you. He's going to watch you. He's going to share your stuff out. He's going to disseminate your channel. He's going to make sure people know you, and he's going to get at it. He's going to get at it. He's a good dude. Those are a few channels out there. I think, because I did have a video released today, the release wasn't so great, mostly probably because of the timing of it. I'm going to link a video in the chat as we start to close this out that I put out very recently. Actually, that I put out today. Let's not kid ourselves here, Sometimes I feel a little blue when videos don't get seen. It's a very human thing to think, but anyhow, I probably shouldn't think about that. Here is a link in the chat to a recent video that premiered earlier this morning about sauropods. Sauropods are very cool types of dinosaurs. I'm a fan of dinosaurs, whether you like long-necked dinosaurs, plant eaters, meat eaters. I'm using those land before time terminology right there. Anyhow, folks, that's Monstrous News with Mongo. This is July 6th. I will see if this appeals to me. I am a just and a cruel God, so to speak. We're all our own worst critics as well. But folks, I hope you have a good time. If you're watching the replay of this, hopefully I kept you interested, and hopefully you found some information that you found interesting. This has been about 30 minutes. We're at 32 minutes right now, folks. I'm Mongo, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.